Oh, sorry. I just needed a minute to recover from having my emotions toyed with. Thanks, Marvel. Avengers Infinity War is amazing, if a little heartbreaking. Now, this is kind of a hard movie to talk about because it just came out not too long ago, and there's still most likely a good chunk of people out there who haven't seen it at this point. So if you're one of them, then I'll try my best to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. As a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've certainly been looking forward to this for a long time. So, for a movie that finally brings people's favorite characters together and serves as a culmination of 10 years worth of Marvel movie goodness, does it ultimately pay off in the end? Yes. But it's so sad! So, Thanos finally decides to get his butt off of that oversized space toilet and goes traveling around the universe to collect all the Infinity Stones, the MacGuffin of the Marvel Universe that can manipulate space, time, and even reality itself. But the Avengers are still split apart after the events of Captain America: Civil War. So Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., goes into space with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange to take Thanos head-on. I can't believe I just said that. And Steve Rogers takes his faction of Avengers to Wakanda to destroy the Mind Stone before Thanos can get his hands on it. The basic premise is that the Avengers are on different sides of the universe trying to keep Thanos from getting all of the Infinity Stones. Along the way, we get Thor teaming up with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man finally using that Iron Spider suit we saw in Homecoming, Benedict Cumberbatch kind of improving his American accent, and some of the saddest, darkest moments any Marvel movie has ever given us. I've heard people describe Avengers Infinity War as an emotional roller coaster, and they couldn't be more right. Obviously, I can't describe certain moments in detail, but if you've been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe up from the very first Iron Man, you will feel for these characters. Something major happens to one of them in the very first scene of the movie, and that's when you'll realize A, nobody is safe, and B, things are gonna get serious. You will desperately want the Avengers to succeed, especially since Thanos' henchmen might just be a little too overpowered. Speaking of Thanos, sweet Ancients of Gallifrey, he's such a good villain. Marvel's always said that Thanos was going to be the biggest, the best, the baddest villain in these movies, and I believe it. The best villains are always the ones that believe they're doing the right thing, and with Thanos, what he's doing isn't clearly a bad thing. He just wants balance, and it's not only a matter of killing everyone in his path to achieve it, he sacrifices everything he loves. He has to make difficult choices. It's almost Shakespearean in a way. Josh Brolin totally sells it. His performance comes through flawlessly, and it definitely helps make the character stronger. All the other actors give great performances too. Chris Pratt, Chadwick Boseman, young Mark Hamill, Sebastian Stan, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson. Wait, am I doing that again? And you know my boy Tom Holland is still the best Spider-Man. I've got to give kudos to Mark Ruffalo as well. His portrayal of Bruce Banner in this movie is kind of like Dr. Jekyll wanting to become Mr. Hyde. Banner tries to weaponize the Hulk, but can't seem to become him when he needs to because the Hulk side of him doesn't want to come out. It's an interesting dynamic, and I can't wait to see this be explored in the next movie. I especially have to give props to the music. I'm a big fan of Alan Silvestri's work. He's done Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Night at the Museum films, even the Super Mario Bros. Movie. No, I am not kidding. While his score for Infinity War isn't the strongest work he's done, he still packs it with a lot of heart and emotion. Another thing he does with the music that I think is very clever is that whenever a certain character appears, he won't play that character's theme from their own film, except in Black Panther's case, but instead he'll use a piece that sounds like it would be associated with that character and fits in with the rest of the movie. Avengers Infinity War is a feat of incomparable levels. I wish I could talk about some more aspects of the film, but again, I don't want to get into spoiler territory. Let's just say there's a reason why it made over $500 million in its first 3 days alone. Because Marvel's managed to do something that's never been done to this scale before, and so consistently. It's not just a great movie with an engaging story, great characters, and mind-blowing spectacle. It represents one of the biggest achievements in cinematic history. Even if you're not a fan of Marvel or superhero movies in general, you can't deny the success that Marvel Studios has had in the past 10 years. Dozens of films under their belt, a diverse cast of characters with established personalities, and all of them interconnected and existing in the same universe. They've essentially done for movies what they did for comic books back in the 60s, and they show no signs of stopping anytime soon. It's absolutely incredible to me. That being said, however, I think you really need to be a Marvel fan to better enjoy this movie. The quality of Avengers Infinity War to you is very likely going to depend on whether or not you've seen the other MCU films. If you have, then you'll love it. If this will be your first one, don't make it the first. You will be hopelessly lost. So, would I recommend you go see Avengers Infinity War? Yes! But only if you're a Marvel fan. Newcomers should definitely do some research before going into it, and longtime fans will be left on a disheartening note, but anxious all the same for how this story concludes next year. Scarlett Johansson. Oh man, now I gotta clean my freaking computer keyboard. Ugh. I need to stop thinking about that woman while I'm recording. This is disgusting!